All right, everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host, the Hut. And, of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut if you haven't already, and like the video, and let me know what you think about this video. There'll be live streams coming up. Obviously, we'll have one on Sunday, which is the regular live stream that I do here. Also, I will have a live stream Wednesday night, I think, and we'll have a live stream in the morning before the Mets play their first game in Washington against the Nationals. As you know, Jacob deGrom is pitching. I do not know right now, because I didn't look it up. I don't know who's starting for the Nationals. You got to let me know if you're in the comments section. Please let me know. As I'm doing this video, I'm not sure who's going to be pitching against the Mets. As you know, the Mets have a great record on the opening day, and they have the best record, really, over 650% winning percentage. But let's talk about the Mets opening day roster, which is going to be a lot of talk over the next 8 days before we get ready. Now, I've heard rumors that the Mets plan on making 3 more moves to round out this roster. There was a rumor on Saturday that discussed the Mets bringing in Tony Watson to be a lefty in the bullpen. Now, the lefties in the bullpen that the Mets have, Jason Shreve and Alex Claudia, pitched rather well in the first month of the first few weeks of spring training. So there's a possibility they both might make this club. And according to SNI.com, SportsIllustrated.com, they say that here. But just keep an eye out for Tony Watson. We'll see where he signs. There's a few free agents that are still out there that are going to get signed. You're starting to see some movement with some players. There's some trades that are going to happen over the next couple of days, and we've seen that over. So that I guess the Padres and the Dodgers made a trade. There was a trade the other day, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But we'll go through this a little bit. We don't have to read any of this. We'll just jump right into what we think is going to be the Mets roster. So the Mets will have 2 catchers according to this. Now the Mets will have the DH, and the National League will have the DH because the DH is down in the National League, and we don't have to worry about. And here's the thing about the DH. That means that the Met lineup and all National League lineups is going to be much more stable. There'll be less changes late in the game. So because the pitcher, there's no double switches. That's over with now, which is fine. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of pitchers' headache, by the way. But here we got James McCann and Tomas Nido. If you don't know, Francisco Alvarez was sent down to the minor league camp. So he's basically done now because they were going to want to get everybody ready, all the regulars ready for the season. But he's the name to keep an eye on for this season. He's a monster. And the Mets are going to have to figure out a way to get him ready because he's getting pretty close and pretty fast to being ready. So, and if McCann doesn't hit, there's going to be a lot of calls up here for him to be with the Mets. First base. For some reason, they put Pete Alonso and Dom Smith neck and neck in this. Pete Alonso is the first baseman, period. End of story. I think I've said this many times. I am not a fan of Dom Smith. I think his bat is slow, but he will be on this team. He'll be in left field a little bit, at first a bit, and DH in a little bit. But he's not the primary first baseman. Pete Alonso is. Second base. Buck Showalter has said that Jeff McNeil is the everyday second baseman with Robinson Cano getting time there. He says he's going to get time there. I don't know what his range is going to be with Cano, but his range was not great in 2019. It wasn't that good. And he wasn't a guy that killed himself diving for balls anyway. So a guy with less range is going to be playing second. And he's 39 years old. But he's going to be bouncing around. The Mets will play a little bit at third, a little bit at first, DH and primarily. But he will be the backup second baseman. At third base, the Mets had Eduardo Escobar. He's the everyday third baseman with J.D. Davis backing him up. The Mets could not get any takers for Dom Smith, Jeff McNeil, and J.D. Davis. It wasn't anything they liked. So these guys are going to be here. Now, J.D. Davis is not going to be playing third that much. Escobar is going to be playing there every day. J.D. Davis, like I said about Dom Smith, in my view, is bad. So they talked about it a lot during the last season, how he had a tough time with a fastball. He was getting beat a lot. But he doesn't have an injury. We'll see how he is with that thumb being a lot better. The Mets had a couple of injuries that they didn't really talk much about. I guess Dom Smith had an injury to his shoulder, which he rehabbed. That doesn't mean he got it fixed. So that bears watching. At shortstop, Francisco Lindor is the primary shortstop. As you know, he's in the first year of a 10-year contract. We'll see what kind of bounce back he has. With this manager, Buck Showalter as the manager, he should perform much better than he did last year. And obviously, Luis Guillorme will be the guy that'll play everywhere in the infield, and he's a great fielding infielder. The outfield will be Mark Kanya in left, Brandon Nimmo in center, and Starlin Marte, Showalter said, would be the right fielder on this team. I don't think they want to put a lot of stress on him physically to play him in center anymore. And he's not too happy about that, but that's what the Mets are going to do. And it seems like Travis Jankowski has sort of emerged as the backup outfielder. The Mets could use a left-handed hitting outfielder. We'll see how he is. I haven't seen much of him. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to be one of these YouTubers that tells me, well, I know a lot about these guys. He's so good. You're going to let me. I'm not going to tell you that. We'll see how Jankowski is. He's a good outfielder. That I do know. The starting rotation, which is the Mets' strength on this particular Mets team, has potentially two Hall of Fame pitchers, Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer, and a guy that could probably be a number one on a lot of other teams, that's Chris Bassett. And we have, now the biggest thing about the Mets pitching in there, and really the team overall, is the health. If Jacob deGrom is healthy, if Max Scherzer is able to not have to deal with any kind of like tired arm, this team has a chance to be really good. I'm still going over the wins. I'm sort of leaning more towards 88. I'm seeing people predicting 100 wins for this team. I am not set to go there yet. I've not seen enough to go there. But their pitching staff, particularly the starting staff, was rated number one by MLB.com. And the back end, I'm okay with Taijuan Walker. I think he's going to pitch more consistently this year. I have my doubts on Carlos Carrasco because he's not pitched regularly in a long time. He's coming off injuries from last year. He pitched miserably last year, and the Mets had to consider what other options they might have going forward. Tyler McGill will be sent down to the minors, I would expect. And David Peterson's already down there right now. So the Mets are going to have to sort of cobble that last spot in the rotation. And we'll see how well Taijuan Walker bounces back from a bad second half last year. I think he'll be better than he was. I think he'll be somewhere in between where he was at the end of the second half than he was the first half. I think he'll be somewhere in the middle from that. The bullpen. Here's the Mets bullpen, according to this. Edwin Diaz is the closer. He'll be the closer for now. I would point out about the Mets, they have 9 free agents on this whole entire team. 4 of the 5 starters are free agents. From the Met bullpen, Edwin Diaz, Seth Lugo, Trevor May, Adam Ottavino are all free agents after the season. Seth Lugo, he's good, but he can't pitch more back-to-back days. I like Trevor May's guts. I like Miguel Castro's guts, but he's a little wild. Adam Ottavino basically replaced Jerry Familia, garbage in, garbage out. Drew Smith is pretty good, but he's always hurt. Chasen Shreve is one of the lefties, not on the 40-man. They'll have to bring him in on the 40-man. Alex Claudio is another guy who's on the 40-man. They're on minor league contracts. I think they'll both make the team. Trevor Williams, the guy they picked up from the Cubs in the Javi Baez deal, he will be the long man, I would assume. He'll probably be one of the first guys out of the bullpen to start if there's a problem with the back end of this bullpen. Or the back end of this rotation. Sean Reed Foley, he's another guy. He's got a pretty good arm, the Mets' strength was their bullpen and their defense last year. I do not see that dropping by much. The Mets defense was really good last year, up until the last month or so. It was very solid, very strong. And their bullpen was good all year. And the only thing that they're missing this year from last year was Aaron Loop. But taking him out of the Met clubhouse is probably a plus. And that's really the Mets' 28-man roster. Now, when we get to May 1st, rather, we'll have cuts. There'll be cuts. 2 players will be cut from the Mets roster. From the 28 to 26. Now, here's a couple of things they mentioned here. guys that have been cut from the Mets spring training camp. Just give you the highlights. Francisco Alvarez, Brett Beatty, Matt Reynolds, former Met, coming back. Jake Mangum, Carlos Cortez, Mets prospect. Josh Walker, Yenzi Diaz. That's a guy who's going to be bouncing up and down a lot in the minors. But let me know what you think about this video. Keep your eye out for live streams. I'll have plenty of those content on here. I try to do a video a day for you. And please leave comments. Please leave likes. And, of course, thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe, and I'll see you later.